Welcome everybody to the third review of Sonic Movie 2 from the Sonic Movie Show. That's right, we reviewed it once, we reviewed it twice, now it's the third time, and 1 year later, Sonic Movie Show is going to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog 2, aka Sonic Movie 2. My name is Ethan, and with me here to go down memory lane into the past 368 days ago, I think it's a few days ago from 1
Somewhere
year.
around there. Yeah,
like that.
whatever.
With me to do this shit is Devin, that guy over there.
Like Vin Diesel and The Rock.
Yep. I thought about this when watching it. Eventually, because, we've heard more recent stuff about The Rock being kind of a dick with contracts and really pushing his weight around.
So you're back on the...
No, I don't know. But all I'm saying is eventually something's going to happen as a result of this. And that joke in the movie is going to be like, like one of them's gonna say something really shitty to the other person. We're all gonna be like, this is embarrassing.
I think the beef is over. Not over, but at least like not. It's never gonna be public. Maybe if The Rock writes a book like 25 years from now, there's gonna be like one short paragraph about Fast and Furious, and it'll be like, I loved working on Fast and Furious.
The full chapter of Black Adam.
Yeah, I loved working on Fast and Furious. I wish I could have done more. That'll be it.
Here's where you're wrong. Here's where you're wrong.
Okay.
I know Vin Diesel pretty well. Not personally, but I know him pretty well. After Fast X comes out, or after the movie afterwards comes out, Vin Diesel's going to post on Instagram or social or make a statement in an interview talking about the highs and lows of the trip that was the 10-film, 11-film franchise. And he will, to some degree, call out the fact that it could have been even better if Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson stepped up. He's gonna say something. He's gonna say something. I guarantee it.
I'm just saying, I run the Vin News Network, and I am on Instagram every day, unfortunately. And but I do get to see Vin Diesel posts usually as it happens. And he's just been nothing but hype for the movie and also Guardians. So I don't know. He's getting closer and closer to 100 million followers, though. Last time I checked.
Next month in May, we'll be doing 2 episodes of the Chronicles of Diesel. They will essentially take the week slots of Sonic Movie Show. I think that's what we kind of figured we would do instead of doubling up. And
we're
so
busy.
You'll get that VNN, one of them, one of those episodes. You'll get it.
To
probably
some
the
degree.
First one, and then the second one, unless there's something breaking like, oh yeah, the movie we talked about 2 weeks ago did really well, and Vin says
Guardians
happy.
Was canceled. What if they?
yeah.
If that happens, then it'll be in the second one.
Groot grew more than 2 different colors of flowers, and he went woke. he went too woke.
No, I just think it's funny because this is 2 Rock jokes in both movies. Because he says is the Rock president in the first one, and it's just funny is that we when we made this show, the Sonic Movie Show. We did it after, I think our first episode was like a week before the trailer came out, or it was afterwards. I don't remember.
It was 1 week before, because we did What We Want from a Sonic Movie, and then we did Sonic Movie trailer reactions, and then we watched Detective Pikachu.
Yeah, and then we took like a 7-month hiatus or whatever it was.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah, but when we first did that, now eventually we got into like Fast and Furious, and we decided to do the Vin Diesel podcast, like at the start of the pandemic, really. Not because of the pandemic, but which indirectly it started at the pandemic. And it's just crazy how like those 2 things have combined. And I never would have thought that. Because I remember when we first saw the Sonic movie, I think, because that was right before the pandemic started, when we were kind of talking. I don't think we said it on any of the episodes, but we were talking about, what if we did a Vin Diesel podcast? It was around that time. Yeah. And then they said it in the movie, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is a sign. We got to do it.
Maybe.
And then it happened again. And then it's just crazy. Yeah. And we've watched a couple different Rock video game movies as well. Yes. And Michelle Rodriguez as well. We've seen a lot of her stuff.
Yeah. Some good, some bad. Blood Rain's real bad. She's not even good in Blood Rain. Remember, Meatloaf was
I blame
the best.
I blame
we know
Blood Rain rather than her for that. But yeah, it's just kind of funny every time I think about them. Like they really shouldn't connect, but they do.
Yeah. Well,
Maybe The Rock will be like, I think we said that in our one episode we did like a year ago of like who would we cast for every other Sonic character in a Sonic movie
who did we
universe.
say The Rock was gonna be?
I don't remember who it was. I thought
A,
it was like,
a Chow, I think. Did we say he was gonna be the Chows, or did we
I don't
say
know,
Vin Diesel
something
was
like
gonna
it
be the
wouldn't make any
Chows?
sense because it'd be funny. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Timothy Clemente will be Shadow the Hedgehog.
We're gonna keep
We need
saying
to
it. It's
mention
speaking
this
to
many
existence.
times as we approach the next year where we're starting to get
Yeah.
trailers for the movie, because like I want us to have credit for this. We said
Yeah.
this a year ago. We did an episode basically just to say that again. You know what I mean? Where we
Yeah.
casted
Yeah.
everyone. Yeah. We basically did that just so we could say it on the record even more. The kid who used to use an Xbox 360 YouTube channel, which then went into the Dune movies, is going to be Shadow the Hedgehog. You heard it from us first.
I want it so bad. Like if it really happens, like
It would be perfect.
I will. I don't know what I'll do, but I just know that we'll have to record an episode as soon as possible that day when it's announced, because it's just gonna. I know. I'm just speaking into existence. It's gonna happen. It's a matter of time.
Well, let's speak this into existence. We watched Sonic the Hedgehog 2, aka Sonic Movie 2, for the first time since it was in theaters. That's right, folks. We watched it twice in theaters, and then we took a 1-year break off that movie. We saw it for the first time. Devin, you watched it on a 4K Steelbook Blu-ray. Ethan, myself, I wanted to watch it on that, but Best Buy sent it to a different address. And I
actually watched it on. I watched it on regular Blu-ray. I went to Target and got the.
Oh really?
You didn't get... So what's funny is I went to Target. My Target like significantly reduced their like DVDs. So I don't know if Target's not doing like Blu-rays and DVDs anymore, but they had like one of those just four a box stand. You know, so 4 panels on each side of 15 like newish movies, and I'm like, fuck, it's not gonna be here. Like I only went that day because when we needed some groceries, but I'm like, oh, I don't really want to go drive anywhere else to go get it. And I'm like, well, I just want it on either Blu-ray or 4K or whatever, just whatever they had, really. I'm looking, I'm like,
1080p? What?
Yeah. No, but I was looking and I'm like, and it had all newer stuff there. You know, it had movies in the last 6 months. I'm like, fuck, Sonic's not going to be here. But then sure enough, there was one left at the bottom row and like one of the one side of it, and I'm like, it's $20. I'm like, cool.
Wow.
Cool.
Well, I accidentally bought a 2-pack of both steelbooks. It was $50 on Best Buy, and it sent it to I sent it to a family member's address, so like I can get it, but like I just watched it on Amazon Prime, so you know it is what it is.
You should have sent it to a random address.
It's $50. I can't get that money back, you know.
And you would get one of those gift notes or whatever, and you just say like,
"Yeah,
was thinking about you." Then you don't say the name.
but I do sign my name. You know what I mean? Like, who the fuck is Ethan? You know what I mean?
And he's thinking about me. What the fuck?
Yeah, he knew I liked Sonic the Hedgehog. I don't remember who is, but in any case, yes, we watched this movie 1 year later. The sole purpose of this episode is to determine if the movie has held up over the course of the year, how we kind of feel it relates to where the previous one was. We've kind of done that when talking about that movie, but we'll talk, about this again. And hey, the Mario movie was our last episode, so we have some context to maybe compare to that as well. I know that we have given this movie a tier ranking of S rank, the best that the Sonic Movie Show can give. We literally have 2 S ranks.
We're not allowed to go any higher.
Abbreviated name, SMS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we gave Mario an A, so let's see if 1 year later we really do feel like it's an S. Let's find out. Let's start with you, Devin. I have one question for you. Because I had this happen to me while watching the movie 1 year later. I'm wondering if that's happened to you 1 year later as well. Are there parts of the movie that you completely forgot were in the movie?
Yeah, I mean, we just did the quote at the top of the hour. I actually did not remember that there was a Rock and Vin Diesel joke in there. I know it's maybe too specific, but there's a lot of the jokes that I didn't remember, and it still made it I mean, it's still held up. The jokes are funny, so I think that's important. Because I think I mentioned in the Mario movie episode that I'm like, yeah, the Mario movie's jokes were kind of hit or miss with me, and I understand I'm not the target audience, whatever. But I feel like we were talking about in the Mario movie there that it's a family movie, but so is Sonic. But Sonic kind of goes a different direction with its comedy in terms of, hey, we're making jokes for adults and whatnot. And yeah,
we're referencing real world stuff that Mario can't.
Right. But yeah, like honestly, watching this again, I we obviously like Jim Carrey. And I think at the time this movie came out, there was rumors this could be his last movie. We still haven't heard anything, which is slightly concerning to me that like that is it. Like it wasn't just like a one-off rumor and he hasn't come out and said anything about it.
They gave a perfect way for him to be away for a movie or two before they throw a briefcase at him full of, Great British pounds and said, please come back. And he says, okay,
Right. I don't think he's done anything. I don't think movie-wise.
I know what he's done. He's been very anti-vax. But
that's not. Yeah. That happened like years ago. I think that was like a misconception. But I don't want to
hope so.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think he. From what I've heard, I don't think that's true. But whatever, it doesn't matter.
Hey, I'll tell you this right now: Sonic movie show, very anti-smallpox vaccine. Don't get that one. You gotta let the smallpox breed.
Yeah,
you
gotta get exposed to it.
And the M in Sonic movie show stands for. The God. SMS is smallpox show.
Right. But no, like I feel like Jim Carrey, like I remember him being great in this movie, but like I feel like just watching it again, it still feels fresh, and I'm like, he brings that classic Jim Carrey, but also does his own Robotnik, and I feel like he built off what the first one, what he did in the first one, more so in this one. I feel like coming out of this, it was like there's a lot of things I feel like just small things that like I didn't remember, and that made it more exciting. But I forgot that this movie was 2 hours and 2 minutes. I thought it was shorter.
Really?
Yeah, I thought this movie was like an hour and maybe 40.
This movie could have enjoyed a Mario movie length, I feel like.
It's
very rare for a movie to really feel like it needs to go extra long versus you do 2 movies or you do, like I feel like we're in an era now where like, man, this could have been an HBO miniseries versus a 2.5 hour movie. But yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it wasn't anything like that really stuck out to me like the second time. I'm like, oh, I've totally forgot that. It was more just like, small things. I remember more distinctively like kind of like the set pieces where it was like Green Hills, Hawaii, the mountain / Siberia there, wherever it was, and then the pyramid underwater where the Master Emerald is.
Yeah.
So I remember the set pieces mostly, and I remember the main plot points. So yeah, it wasn't anything too big that I feel like I forgot about. So
I'll tell you something huge that I forgot about. And this is embarrassing. Okay. So I'm going in this movie and I'm like, okay, yep, this is, because I'm thinking in the future with Shadow the Hedgehog, I'm like, okay, yep, I remember the teaser at the end. Still hit very hard, like awesome. Like, and I still remember when I was in the theater watching it, a year ago, the holy shit moment that people my age had in the audience of holy shit. But obviously going to this movie, I'm like, oh, yep, this is, Sonic versus Knuckles. That's what this movie is. And I forgot Tails was in the movie.
You forgot Tails in the movie?
I forgot Tails was in the movie until, like, the scene where he pops up starts playing. I'm like, oh, duh. I forgot about that.
Actually, yeah. Actually, I do remember, because I think we discussed this in our last Sonic review. I don't remember who said what. I remember us having discussion of like, is the Master Emerald gone? And I remember saying that like, no, it's not.
And I said it's not. Master Emerald is not. This is what I was right. The Master Emerald was just shards that were then put back together. Right. But the Chaos Emeralds were jettisoned out into the ether. They did not return to the Master Emerald. So that's where the confusion is of like, what does this Master Emerald even do? And where do the Chaos Emeralds go?
I'm assuming they're just back in there. It's magic shit, whatever.
I think they spread around, and because here's the thing. With our Shadow the Hedgehog movie, he needs to get one of them to use Chaos Control, right? He just needs that. And
I think he's going to get the whole thing.
I mean, that would be awesome. And you just kill Sonic. I win.
That's how it starts. First 15 minutes.
Yeah, 50 minutes.
Kills Tails or something.
And he goes fight a giant sandworm for drugs with his clock. No, yeah, I forgot Tails was in the movie. I remembered pretty much most of it, but a lot of it was, Jesus, what the hell is this giant fly coming around here for? I remember most of the bits as they were really kind of happening. So I'm like, oh yeah, the dance off. Oh yeah, the freaking song that they play at the dance off. I forget what it's called, but I don't really like it.
You just don't like
the
you don't like Bruno Mars.
I really don't. I really don't. You know, I remember
Ethan hates all the music that we. I feel like
Ethan hates
you always hate. You always hate one
that.
song in all the movies we watch. I've realized.
That's fair. It's fair. You know what I mean? It came out, you know, a few days after I had seen the Mario movie that they put "Take on Me" to replace a Donkey Kong orchestrated segment in that movie.
And I have thoughts on why Mario movie did that, and I think it might relate to these two movies where they're like the Sonic movies. Both these movies were successful, and they both have a family audience. How many of the family audiences are going to know that the soundtrack is, if they base it off the games or not? They want to have, maybe it's easier to get licensed music to be like, we're trying to get this energy in this scene instead of trying to find a Sonic song that needs to be remixed or whatever, right, to fit that. Because I actually think the soundtrack in this isn't like, yeah, I wish there was more Sonic music, but I think
there was any Sonic music, to be fair.
I think there was there's like a couple like stingers,
quick
right,
motifs. But like it wasn't the Mario movie, and I mean I don't want to spoil the Mario movie, but everyone will know this already before going in from trailers and whatnot. Was like the movie's orchestrated score was constantly delving in and weaving between different Mario things, yes, to what's happening on the movie. And that Donkey Kong one lines up with what's happening on the screen.
Yeah.
So like
my thing is just
cool.
I think that
that was in Sonic 2.
Yeah. Because in Sonic 2, yeah, I was gonna say is that I feel like the music for the most part is pretty good of like in terms of using licensed music, and I wonder if Mario movie saw that and was like, all right, they played a little safe with the music. We don't want to do just strictly Mario motifs. Let's do some Take on Me's here.
A lot of 80s, yeah.
But I feel like Sonic Movie 2 does a better job of with the licensed music and knowing when to use it and when not to, compared to what Mario Movie did.
That's fair. Although I guess I like more of the songs that were used in the Mario one than the Sonic 2.
I'm not saying Sonic 2 is, but I guess would say memorable, but
it didn't use them as often as Mario did. Like, again, not spoiling the Mario movie. There are several parts where I'm like, why are they playing this here? Or this at all? You know what I mean? Where the Sonic one was like, they weren't as many, and it felt like it fit the vibe more. Or like, now that I know that that they replaced a Donkey Kong one with Take on Me, did they do that with any of the others? You know what I mean? Like, maybe they did, because the Donkey Kong one, people know this because it was on the soundtrack CD and it's on Spotify. Like, it was just in there. So like, did some of them not get cut early on? You know what I mean? Like, and I kind of wonder maybe with this movie too, was there a conversation early on of like, hey, we in the trailer for this movie we play Emerald Hill Zone, first level of Sonic 2 the game. We gonna play that song in the movie? And someone said no. I highly doubt they did not have a conversation at all about Sonic music in the movie. So I'm curious, and I hope that the positive reaction and press that Mario movie has gotten, specifically because of the Mario music in there, kind of gives them a bit of a confidence to at least do a little bit for Sonic 3. Because if you're going to be putting Shadow the Hedgehog in the next game, you presume there's going to be Sonic Adventure 2 elements in there. And if you're going to fucking do Sonic Adventure 2, you got to do City Escape, at least the damn song. Like, I'm sorry.
in
It's
the
at the
back.
point now where that is on an equal level of fan appreciation as Green Hill Zone's music. It's up there. I don't think those are like the only Chemical Plant. I would even say is up there as well.
I was gonna say, to me, I'm a Chemical Plant guy. Like, it's my
those are
top
the
tier.
three. I feel like songs.
I still haven't heard that, but I'm hoping they save it for the inevitable like Chemical Plant part.
They need to have a Chemical Plant. Because would you rather they put that and it's not really in an area that uses it? You know what I mean? Like, City Escape is perfect. Any fucking city, I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? It doesn't even need to be San Francisco. Green Hill Zone, put them outside. I don't give a shit. It works fine. Chemical Plant, an industrial place, maybe.
Yeah, I'll say the Sonic movie too. Like, it takes it safe with the soundtrack and whatnot, but I don't think it's bad either. I feel like with the Mario movie, it was hit or miss with the song selection, and that makes it bad in that way. Where you had with the soundtrack, like the best part of the Mario movie is that one song that this isn't spoilers because it's been all over like YouTube and stuff, and it's on the soundtrack. I guess who cares? Mario spoilers. Peaches, which was made by Jack Black. You know what I mean? Who obviously has musical experience. So like, why is that the song that's being used for marketing and not any of the Mario stuff? That I think says something compared to Sonic Movie 2, where they had, I think, Kid Cudi on for like the credit one, and they used it at the beginning of the movie as well.
Yeah. And that's a very like that song and the I think it was like the beginning of the song that, you know, maybe not the little start of the track, but you know, that was very well done to what was visually shown on screen. Like yes, this works 100%. Some of the other ones not as much, but like that one really worked well. And you know, we like to joke and say Ethan's a hater of the first movie's, you know, original music track.
Speed me up.
I was, you know, trying to think of what it was. You know, we all joke that Ethan's a hater, and I don't really care for it. This one's better. Since we're on the topic of credits, the sprite work for the credits in Sonic Movie 2 is another thing I forgot. At least a good 70% better than the first movie's sprite work credits, where the first one, it felt like when you see like advertisements online or commercials or whatever, and they're gamer stuff, and they made, you know, old pixelated graphics of whatever their thing is, and none of them feel like it doesn't feel cohesive. Like if this was running on an old video game system, it would have had to adhere to rules and this and that, and it feels cohesive. Those don't. The first movie's sprites credits are closer to that than like the video game, you know what I mean? Obviously, this one does a very good job, and the key thing I like to point out is when they do like the speech bubbles with the people talking, you know, like when Sonic's like Eggman,
right.
And like that is obviously not from any of those Sonic games, but it feels good. So like, I'm like, yes, you saw something and you improved it, and like, yes, and the song's better too. While we're on the topic, real quick, side note, of things, because we talked about like the Master Emerald and a conversation we had for another episode, and now we can watch it again and say, yes, Ethan was right. Ethan's always right. That's what the show is called. That's what the SMS stands for, is Ethan is right. We had a conversation last episode about the Mario movie, and it's in the trailers. But if you don't want spoilers, again, skip 2 minutes ahead for Mario movie. The blue
Mario
Luma
dies.
Mario dies. The blue Luma star character talking about, you know, waiting for death, and they're so happy for death. And I said, you know, that's one of those things where like everyone loved that, and it will be used in the next movie because of that reaction. I said, you see that in movies. Perfect fucking example in this movie. Tom and the sister-in-law was definitely something people liked more. The Olive Garden gift card thing was something people liked more. I'm forgetting. Oh, the Austrian goat milk thing. That's the perfect thing. There was no way in that movie that was planned to be like an elaborate back thing. There were the coffee shop and this and that. No, people really liked that joke. People really liked that scene. And so that became a bigger thing in the sequel.
They made it part of his character that he's like really good at like running a coffee shop. Yeah,
absolutely. And he does the latte art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He has fucking sorry for the language, hillbilly ass people that don't appreciate it. I hated that. Granted, maybe he didn't want that, and it's kind of weird. He draws someone's random face with hearts around it.
But going back to the licensed music, though,
Mm-hmm.
this was a good time for licensed music because it was Nora Jones' "Don't Know Why," which was a certified classic in my mom's car in 2008. So like I
didn't know that.
But I really liked that part because like that's when they first show Agent Stone again.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be in like this nice coffee shop, listening to like the jazz music, right? And yeah, he's doing the art. It's just awesome. I love. We're on Team Agent Stone
We
on
are.
the show. If you've listened to our other episodes, but yeah, I really liked that scene in general. But yeah, they really made a joke into like a full-fledged part of his character
because
it's
he didn't
amazing.
really have much, and they gave him more. And like
They made him
shout
cooler
out to
because
Agent Stone. That's such a good character, and like
Yeah.
he is the perfect type of henchman for a I don't want to say a Jim Carrey villain, but you know, for this Eggman thing where like you can tell like there's gonna be a movie because they're gonna be doing more of these movies. Newsflash. I guarantee more than just the third movie too. Even if the third movie doesn't do as much as these first two movies, they will continue to do more because diminishing returns are still returns. Until it becomes a bomb, they will keep doing more movies. They have already started to set up an abusive, relationship thing where like Agent Stone does everything for Eggman and he does not respect him back. Maybe a little bit, but not really all that much. He would leave him behind. He does not care. You know what I mean? That will come back in one of these future movies, but
Yeah, Lee Majdu. I always forget how to pronounce his name, so apologies. I want to make sure. I was Googling to make sure I was pronouncing it right because we follow him on his Twitter. He's pretty active on Twitter, especially with like Sonic fans and stuff. So he's super cool. Yeah, I hope he's in the third one. And if Jim Carrey's not in the third one, he better be getting getting all that screen time.
Paramount.
All that screen time.
Make him the villain of the whole movie. If you're not going to have Jim Carrey, make him the entire villain. Just do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just do it.
I do like our one plot idea we came up with. Like, what do we want from
and then
the
someone
Sonic movie
in a
3?
comment somewhere or Twitter just told us we were wrong. Facture, like, all right, whatever. It's still fun though.
Yeah. We were saying that like basically what was it? Like, Dr. Robotnik's mom is more evil than him, and she's been like frozen in kryptonite or something. Like she's still around, and she's disappointed in her son. And she like connects with Agent Stone and connects with Shadow. That was like our whole thing, which I thought would be so ridiculous.
They tease Agent Stone. He is not an idiot. He is already snuck into Gunn at the end of that movie. He's in a uniform.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the inside, He's going to find Shadow.
I wonder if that's where the direction they'll go, is that he like infiltrates Gunn more and like is able to like manipulate.
And maybe through that's how he has this change of heart.
And he has like a fake mustache on or something. Like it's so obvious that they can make that as a joke that like they didn't realize it was Agent Stone the entire time.
Yeah.
But to be fair, no one knew it was him working in Green Hills the entire time for like I think they said 260 days is how long Jim Carrey was gone. So like
they say that they give a factual
he said
stat.
when he's saying he's like doing like the beginning, he said day 243. So I'm like, okay, so it's roughly 240 days. I don't know if Mushroom Planet hits in a different rotation speed and all that, whatever.
If the echidnas are going to speak English, then I think this is one of those all years are the same year type of scenario.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This isn't like fucking DC Comics or some shit.
Yeah. But it's funny that for 240 days, he's been running this really nice coffee shop that one of the officers who's met him.
It's on the main street too.
Yeah.
That's prime real estate.
The officer knows them. Like it's not like they never have seen Agent Stone
Wait a
before.
second. In
Wade. Officer Wade. 'Cause remember Officer Wade's getting interrogated in the first one by Agent Stone and Robotnik.
Was Agent Stone? He had to have been there.
Yeah, he was. He was there.
Yeah, he had to have been there. Whatever. Perfect.
But I like that. I think
Even
that's
better.
funny. Like
no one really pays that much attention to him. Even better. Yeah, what's up? So like Robotnik was a government, employee, federal employee, which obviously
he got drug
Agent
tested.
Stone
He got
was
drug
as
tested.
well. Yeah, he probably didn't even do anything. Agent
You don't
Stone
think he
had
popped
to
a
have
little
been as
Xans?
well. I don't know.
He looks wild. He looks wild now. He popped some Xans.
Yeah, he could be prescribed to Adderall, and that's not the same as taking meth. You know what I mean? Even though Adderall is meth, it's not the same. But Agent Stone was a federal employee too, so like no one said like, hey, where the fuck did that guy go? Who is this guy? You know. But yeah, no, great. He's great. Knuckles, Idris Elba, our king of the Echidna. You know, Echidna forever.
Forever.
They have the spikes thing on all their gloves. He's great, obviously. I had like the thought the other day, like what happened, like well the other day when I watched this movie, what would we think of this movie if they casted like, I don't know, just someone else that wasn't like as good? Because remember, we all remember when, you know, the Sonic movie Twitter account or whoever it was. No, that's what it was. It was the official O.J. Simpson Twitter account that tweeted "knock knock" with the glove, you know, that didn't fit, but it fits now. He grew into it. No, when Idris Elba tweeted "knock knock" and it was a Knuckles.
That was one of the funnier memes that we made on our Twitter. We should have got more credit for that one because that one was hilarious.
That was that was good. And then speaking about our Twitter stuff, when we get to the scene in the movie where Eggman touches the Master Emerald, I literally thought, isn't it pink? Because that's the render I did. I did the color swap.
That's another one we did. We did do that one. That's right. Yeah.
Let's retweet them. You know, retweet them or just post
I gotta
the
go back
again.
I gotta go back for sure.
Yeah, make sure that's done. All right.
Or I think I have them saved at least. I
still have them. I ain't deleting them. I'm like, these are funny. But
I also have the Vin Diesel one where it's the kid who's turning it up to 11 and then like is crying because he's listening to music. And I did it with the one Vin Diesel song.
Yeah. something, but I want to is how the lyrics go. I don't look back, but I want to. I don't remember. What happened to that album? Moving on. We can save that for our next Vin Diesel episode.
Maybe it's in Fast X, dude. Don't sleep on it.
That'd be funny. I feel like if they're doing
the whole soundtrack is just
here's the thing. If they're gonna let Vin Diesel do that, then Ludacris and Tyrese Gibson are probably not very happy.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
I hate that phrase. I feel like it's being used in different contexts now. I've heard it used in good places and bad things. So
you know what? I hope Sonic, the first line he says in the next movie is, "Let me cook."
Oh my god!
Just like I could hear Ethan's eyes roll from across the United States.
My eyes roll so hard and fast they pop into my skull and plinko down my organs. Exactly. I've stolen that joke from someone. I don't remember which, but I love that joke, so I use it all the damn time. Other things that were great in this movie, I'm gonna say this right now, I feel like a lot of the CG stuff still holds up. It's only been a year, so like I feel like it probably should, but none of it felt too crazy. There was a couple moments where like someone gets a little bit too close to Sonic or Tails, and I feel like when the fishing on the boat, when Tom puts like a blanket on Sonic because he just got out of the water, like if something felt very uncanny right there, where all of a sudden I lost like the immersion. And I remember this back then as well, but we come back, and then there's a part where like I think it might have been Maddie and Tom, they're like in the mid-ground or foreground, and Tails is behind them. So like let's say I'm Tails and Maddie is, you know, this hand right here. The lighting and color grading did not match, and it felt like green screen. You know what I mean? Obviously, you know, I know Tails isn't real, but like there was that moment as well. I don't know where we were gonna go with that joke, but there was another bit. There was another beat that we could have found, and that would have been funny. But we're just gonna laugh at the potential.
Make that the YouTube. Yeah, that should be the YouTube episode, or the thumbnail should just be like, Tails isn't real. Oh,
good. Now I have our screen.
Big red text. Yeah.
I was gonna ask at the beginning before we started recording proper if we can just make poses so that I can grab them, because sometimes it's hard to find faces.
We just need the Mario one.
I just scrolled to random spots and said, "That's a funny face. That's a funny face." We're not spoiling our real opinions on the movie, so here we go.
Yeah,
but
We definitely go the opposite direction with the thumbnails, and I love it. Like it's like making. I like how it's like just over the top more than like what the other ones you see for just like Disney's doing what?
There's more than 3 colors in this flag. It must be a gay version. They're woke now.
Right.
I have to shoot a beer can.
No, what we really need to do is just get a photographer and just do like 500 headshots of it. Yeah. So next time we're together, we'll get that done. You know. I'll hit up. Well, we can have.
We know people.
We know people. I know a guy.
Yeah, we know people. But it's really a studio space that you need. You know what I mean? Like, you can have a photographer, but you need lighting. And I know, like, I have lights here, but like, that's not going to work. You know? So
I gotta wear blue.
Oh my god, we'd have to dress up in like Spirit Halloween costumes of blue hedgehog that runs fast and yellow foxtail friend. You know what I mean? Also, I'm gonna put this right out there. Tails has a gun in this movie, and I forgot that.
Yeah,
Tails just has a gun. Because I get it. What else was he gonna do besides jump on
because
things
Rachel
like
shoots
Sonic
the
might?
wedding cake with it.
Yeah,
on.
and then when they're doing their final stand before Eggman and they're doing their Avengers, thing, Tails has one of those, and he's shooting robots. Like, homie, I know we all love Agent Stone, but when you got in there, you pop him in the back of the head. He's not immortal yet, like Knuckle or like Eggman is.
Tails is too nice. But hey, if they can have a laser gun, that means Shadow can have a gun in the next movie.
Number one, absolutely. Before we
or at least a
move on to that,
cartoon
though,
gun.
He's gonna have a Desert Eagle like he does in the render of Shadow the Hedgehog. Before we move on, oh shit, I'm losing it. Oh no. Okay, here we go. Here's the joke you do in the third movie. All right. Here's a Jim Carrey joke you can say. Jim Carrey, at some point in your next movie, when you're talking to Sonic or shit or whatever, just mention that all your badniks, all your robots have souls. And I just want to see it. I feel like that'd be fun. Just say that they're alive. Shadow,
you killed all my drones. They were my children.
We talk about Shadow having a gun. I have a strong feeling that they won't give him a gun. However, these are conversations that they will have. And there's definitely a pros and cons list to giving Shadow a Desert Eagle. You know what I mean? There is a pros and cons list at Paramount on whether or not they should give that man a gun. And obviously they came to a decision because I assume that they're already filming or like they're past that part and they need to decide, does he jump on people or does he pop them in the back of the head? You know what I mean? As he jumps past them. Or does he just chaos control and do, boom, boom, boom stuff?
I imagine like there was at some point, at least for a day, on the whiteboard it said, Shadow Deagle? ? Just like,
yeah.
And then there's like
someone writes underneath
a T chart,
Desert Eagle.
T chart with pros, cons.
Cons.
Cool.
Rating might go up. Families might not like it. Pros. Cool. Yeah. Based. Hates government. Based. Yeah. Based on what? Based on the games, the source material. You have to give him a gun. Now, they can easily argue, well, he doesn't have a gun in Sonic Adventure 2, which is what we're probably going to be basing these.
Okay, fine. At the end, he gets the nice like briefcase with the styrofoam or whatever in it. The foam.
It's like Hitman.
And there's a silenced USPS or something in there. Fuck it. I don't care.
Nice. A pair of silver ballers.
Somebody give this man a gun. It's just we'll just have a
Chadwick Boseman AI synthesized voice.
No, it was that's from John Wick. I was gonna say like the was it Forrest Whitaker says it, I believe.
Okay. I thought because in Infinity
I think he says
War,
in the
Chadwick
second one
Boseman
where
says,
he's
give this man a shield, or someone give this man a shield.
No, there's like one scene where he just says out loud like, "Give this man a gun." Somebody give this man a gun. I want that.
Nice. I still have to see John Wick 4. Maybe Shadow the Hedgehog is in it. You know?
Not Forrest Whitaker. What the fuck am I thinking? Now
You're thinking of Morpheus.
Yeah. We're so bad with actors, bro.
On
this show, we gotta step it up.
The name Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah,
Lawrence Fishburne. Fun fact: someone once thought Samuel Jackson was his character in The Matrix, and said that to Samuel Jackson.
So. Yeah. Now I've was not trying to be racist, sorry, but like, but to be fair, we mess up a lot of actors and actors of all Cree on this show for sure.
Just
We're
not
awful. I still always have I still have IMDb up for this movie. We've seen it
nice
3 times now.
Nice.
So
okay, but yeah,
no.
Sorry, do you have a thing you want to talk about?
No, I mean, I just feel like the next thing I really wanted to talk about was just like, how do we feel with like the action stuff? Because they definitely, like, compared to the first one, and if you want to compare it to Mario movie there, how do, like, I feel like they stepped it up from the first one, but yet there was a lot of, like, there wasn't as much action when you think about it until the end, really. Like, there was a couple fights, but then it was a lot of like more like Sonic running and stuff, which I think is good.
Which is fair.
Like him like surfing in the snow, snowboarding in the snow, off the mountain there.
I think the mix is fine. Because,
I agree.
Again, he's a character that is also really well known for his cartoons. And I almost said cartoons and TV shows, as if he's not a cartoon in some of them. His cartoons. And even, the games where he does talk. Like, he is a character that people enjoy listening to him speak to his friends. And the friends speak back to him sometimes. And the comic books, which I will never read those. That can be a tier reward. There we go. If we want to do a tier reward for things, force these men to read the comic books on a stream or something. But I think the mix is fine because, again, it isn't just fights and combat. It's the maneuvering. Sonic is a platformer. Mario's a platformer. I feel like there was a good mix of the Mario action as well. You know what I mean? I liked the scene in this movie, in Sonic Movie 2, where he runs across the water. To me, that felt like that was an action, thing. I like the snowboarding. It reminds me of Sonic Adventure 1 with the snowboarding, which was better than Sonic 06's snowboarding, which you would not have thought, given, the distance between those two. The 7-year distance between the two
snowboarding
games.
Level is actually awful in Sonic 06.
Yeah,
which is unfortunate.
They give up. They also
that
give up
great.
halfway through. But yeah, no, I like the mix in this. Some of the joke mix and the kind of humor Sonic does, I don't feel like is as good this time around as I might have maybe thought it was the first or second time we reviewed this movie a year ago. But again, it's an all ages thing. Some of them are not going to hit me. I think the Jim Carrey stuff all hit all the time. The Wade jokes were really flat for me. Some of them were. I feel like that character was not utilized enough for what they wanted that character to kind of be. Where it felt like, has he had a scene with Tom at all in this movie? I don't think so. I don't even think they're not even in the town at the same time.
I think there was a phone conversation or something, but yeah.
That's in the first movie, I feel like. At the end, maybe, like, they run up to... Tom and Maddie are, and maybe Sonic and Tails, are outside the coffee shop with the military, and Wade's inside. And I don't even know if Wade ever gets to leave. I think maybe towards the end of the movie, we just get a... oh yeah, he's okay type of panning shot with him in it. I don't really remember.
What happened to Crazy Carl?
They made a point to point him out at the end of the first movie as he's in the thing and he has a chainsaw. No, Crazy Carl. You know what?
He's okay.
Here's my thing. Crazy Carl's probably crazy in real life, probably refused to take the vaccine. And they said, oh, you can't be in the movie then because we have a lot of people on these movie shoots, And Jim Carrey said, I will just not mention and the dolls that are Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, they also didn't take it. So, they had to recast the Sonic doll. And this joke has went on long enough. But it's hit or miss.
Actually, my question with people not being there, how many people died? At least at Green Hills.
They make an effort to not really show destruction of Green Hills in terms of the giant robot stepping on things too much. It does walk down the street, but in a weird way, as if it's walking alongside buildings and not on them. At one point, Knuckles goes to punch Eggman and he does the finger thing, and there is no way he would have had the reach to go that distance. It's just a funny gag. I get it. But if he were to somehow pretend that he's also running behind it, I guess. But then Sonic leads him away and he's running through nature, destroying trees and killing the animals that live there, sure. But still, it's away from people. Sonic maybe cares more about the little animals than he might even care about people, but whatever. So like they do make an effort not to really destroy Green Hills. I did, still think it's weird that like it has to take place in Green Hills again for the final fight. Like I think we can move on from Sonic's hometown.
Maybe they just felt it was the easiest to shoot it, probably, to be honest. But yeah, I think that was one of our
sort of like
that was one of our hopes going into this movie, was like we wanted it to be expanded a little bit more, and they did. I wish there was maybe a little bit more expansion, but after watching this for the third time, I'm not disappointed or anything like that. Yeah. I feel like for the third one, it needs to be completely new settings, or if you're gonna do Green Hills, it's better be just the beginning, and then that's it.
Yeah, I don't want Sonic and Shadow to fight in Green Hills. I don't. If they were wanting to do scenes from Sonic Adventure 2 for whatever reason, I don't think that they would, because they didn't really care too much about trying to do locations for Sonic 1 and 2, the games, or anything like that. But if they were to, then sure, city, they would need a city. San Francisco would be nice, but because the Golden Gate Bridge, Shadow's first level, he's grinding down the Golden Gate Bridge. Like that, you gotta show that. You know what I mean? But sure,
I'm all for it. After visiting it, I'm all for it. I realized a lot of movies have done stuff. I mean, obviously San Francisco, but like specifically the Golden Gate Bridge. I totally forgot that like Godzilla runs through it at some point.
I'm sure every giant monster has destroyed it.
Yeah.
Because hey, guess what?
And of course, Planet of the Apes.
Japan, it's on the West Coast, so you can hit that on your way.
And Planet of the Apes, they're that's how they get to the Muir Woods, which I visited, which is pretty cool.
And even Toy Story 2, they destroy the Golden Gate Bridge in that one.
Right. Right.
But we have a city, a jungle. There's Metal Harbor, that was a military base. Pumpkin Hill.
Use that. We said it earlier.
A desert. Space. Are they going to go to space? I think that's a more like in terms of locations. That's the only one that would probably, because if Shadow the Hedgehog and they're actually doing the Project Shadow, and this was 50 years ago, and this and that, then they might also do like the arc reactor or arc cannon stuff in space. That space station. Are they going to go to space? How would you get Sonic into space? Through Eggman stuff?
Well, remember the rings go to different worlds. I feel like if it's going to be any space stuff, it's going to be that. I don't think it's going to be like, I don't think it's going to be actual like fighting in space. I think it'll just be like, we're at Mushroom World. We're at whatever other world you can think of. You honestly could do a Doctor Strange.
You just have to kind of see something, and then you can just visualize that. You don't even know where it is. You know what I mean? With the snowboard and Tom throws the ring. Also, that scene where he goes up and stops a wedding, Sonic dumps them all of his in Siberia. I don't think it matters. Knuckles has some too. Remember, he uses them. So we don't get to see him use it. But like when Knuckles and Eggman go to that island where they then put the compass in the ground and then like the water parts open, like Knuckles had to have done that. So, there's some. It's one of those things where it's not going to matter. This is one of those movies where like our main plot and how we relate it to the characters that already exist is just say Sonic also had a map with him. The man has no clothes when he was a baby and he ran through that portal. He didn't have anything on him. I don't think it matters. Like, they can just say he has more rings. I don't think anyone will care. This is that type of thing where, like, a map with a hologram.
Or he stored extras for safety, like, in the place. Yeah. Oh, another question. Ozzy the dog, we can never see again after Eggman comes and destroys the house.
Oh, yeah.
Because he scares Ozzy away when the lights go out.
That's right.
And then Knuckles comes, or Eggman comes, and Knuckles comes, and then it's like.
Dog
Also,
was
we
looking
never go
old
back
too.
there. Their house, like, and they were gone for at least for another day in Hawaii and stuff. So
They
like,
all, yeah,
I just think
yeah.
about like those kind
It's
of
the second
logistic
time
things. I'm
that
like,
house has been attacked.
I'm moving.
You know,
It's
yeah.
it's a nice property. It looks like, but
Listen, last time Eggman was on another planet. This time we don't know where he is, and he was last seen in our own town. So like, we gotta move. You know,
yeah, we don't
the
need a
only reason
Michael
why they
Myers
stayed there is
situation. We
because I
don't. You just don't
assumed
need a Michael
he
Myers
died.
situation where you don't want to stay in the town where the
Yeah,
main monster lives nearby. At any point can come.
just
um,
nuke it, destroy
New Green
everything.
Hills. No, my hope is for the third one at least is that there's at least new settings that are much more significant time, whether it's off Earth or on Earth, wherever. Find a way to get it done. I don't even care
Yeah.
if it's like Kansas or something boring like that. Just like
Another place. We're going to Wyoming. It's pretty similar to Montana. So you know what? Yeah. Here's Emerald Hills. It's so
Emerald
similar.
Hills, Wyoming. I
Yeah.
could see that. Just call it
That'd
Emerald
be a
Hills,
funny
Wyoming.
joke. It'd be a funny
That they
joke.
moved at the beginning. It shows
That
them in like
actually would be a
Wyoming.
pretty funny joke. I'm not gonna lie. I would not be against that as a
As long as
joke.
it was like quick, and then they move to
Yeah.
something else.
But as far as this movie goes, I feel like Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, I like them still a lot. Um, but it's one of those things where like I just want to see more interactions between them. Last year when we reviewed this movie, we made the point of pointing out that hey, this movie was willing to have an entire big subplot involving all of the minor human characters. They are not going away. They are a part of this franchise, and we actually like that. We think it's cool that they did that. Um, that does take away a lot of inner conversation personalities between Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. And I'm not again not complaining, but like I want to see more of that stuff. You know, if especially if we're going to be doing movies that also have potentially multiple villains, and we're also still having the humans, doing things. Your precious screen time by having these characters talk to each other and interact with each other in non-fight scenes is gonna diminish. So like they got to use that time wisely. Um, but as far as this movie goes, I did enjoy all three of them. I will still point out 1 year later, Sonic says we need to have a plan, and they said, yeah, we're gonna team up and have a plan, and then they just start going, and they don't really have much of a plan besides I will run away, and then you guys will go and do something, I guess. Um, I don't think this movie has dropped at all for me in terms of how I view it. It's still a pretty damn good movie. Um, it is the best of the two Sonic movies, although next year we will rank them. Remember, that's what our fourth.
Was that
Our
what we said?
no. Our fourth viewing of the movies is the director's commentary, and our fifth viewing of the movie is how do we rank them. And we only have one movie on the list because we only have one that went to five viewings.
Right, right.
Uh,
I was gonna say, did you watch the short at all?
I did not because my Blu-ray is in another state.
Yeah. So the short was like 5 minutes. I'll just guess quickly run through it. But I think it's important because it ties to. We did like an episode about like what we want from a Knuckles TV show, which should hopefully be out this year, if not early next year.
It's supposed to be this year.
So, and actually, based off this, I have a hunch now on what we're getting with that
What do you
potentially.
think?
So the short, I thought was just going to be more of just like more of like maybe not like a new ending or something to it, but just I thought it was gonna be continuing off of that. But it does take place after the movie. I just don't know to what degree, how long it's been, but it's Knuckles, Tails, and Sonic, and they go to a junkyard because I forget what they said, but like they heard there were some happenings there or something like that. And I noticed really quickly that I'm like, oh, this is fully animated, but it's like so like the background
Oh,
and
you know
everything
what? I
is
might have saw this on YouTube last summer or something like that. But go on.
maybe I'm sure it's on YouTube. But it's like it's fully animated. It's supposed to be like close to real, but you can tell obviously that it's not. Like it's not trying to make it like it's trying to hide that it's fake either. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of like photorealistic animation. And so yeah, they get to there, they get to the junkyard, and there's a drone, an old Eggman drone that is like a pile of parts. And he's like almost like a big robot, like Wally or something like that. And they fight him, but then they realize that he's just lonely, and then he does poetry. Long story short, it's like a bit or whatever. And then Knuckles, they have to stop Knuckles from destroying him because he got hit by the robot like super far away. But yeah, long story short, they leave him be or whatever, and they just leave after that, and they let the robot live basically, because the robot said they basically convinced him that like to do world domination, he can do it through poetry because he really likes poetry.
Okay.
Yeah, but then I realized that I was like at the credits, and that in terms of like it didn't Knuckles and I don't know who was Knuckles and Tails, but it wasn't from the movie. Ben Schwartz was still Sonic. I didn't really notice that because I mean there wasn't too many lines, but I'm like, okay, so that makes me worried that like that Knuckles show won't be Idris Elba. It'll be someone who's like Idris Elba.
Oh no, that's bad. That's bad.
But that also makes me think that it's going to be fully animated and not be like live action.
It all depends on how they are going about this. If this is one of those like early Disney Plus things where it's like 6 episodes and we have like a movie budget, almost a movie budget for 6 episodes, and maybe it might actually kind of look somewhat like the movie but on a smaller scale. I would not be against fully animated, but I feel like they kind of run the risk of having not seeming canon.
Looked like
I'm sure it would look better than that, because it would have a budget.
It looked like a short. It looked like a short, but like I have a feeling like maybe this is what they did this to like kind of like to see like how does it work? Like, can we make something like this way as a TV show?
Yeah, because they announced both like at once, right? A show and the next movie. So, and this was like pretty closely after the second movie was somewhat even successful right away. So they definitely were thinking about expanding it beyond another movie right away. So yeah, well, we'll find out. But when do you think we will get a trailer for Sonic 3?
Well, the movie's not till what? Like Christmas of next year?
Yeah, next year. I would imagine it has to be after the Knuckles show is all said and done.
For sure.
When that is. Like, who knows when this Knuckles show is happening? We need to find this out. I wonder if someone has said something like, oh yeah, we're looking at fall or winter. Like, maybe
December 2024. So we won't have an April one, because a spring, because I feel like we just did our Sonic review episode then this, which is fine because it
February
keeps it fresh of mind.
Yeah,
but it's going to be interesting if it stays with the December release date.
Or it's pushed to 25.
December 20th, 2024. So it's really like at this rate closer to 2025, which is crazy.
I don't like that.
So I feel like we're not getting. I'm assuming it's going to be after maybe they drop it like the first teaser, like the short, not like a full length trailer, but a teaser maybe after the end of the Knuckles show.
I bet I could see that post-credit scene at the Knuckles thing that also, it would be kind of dumb, but I would not be surprised if they just do the somewhat cheap option of just put a scene from the movie as the post-credits that we sometimes see with some of these things.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends. I think we'll know pretty quickly like how much Knuckles TV show like either is linear with the story or is it going to be a prequel. I know we talked about that in our one episode there. So really, I think once we figure that out, then we'll know for sure if there'll be an end credit scene or not. I could see them maybe not doing an end credit scene, and then maybe just doing the teaser like a month afterwards after people have seen it, one way or another. So I don't think it's going to be till at earliest. I feel like probably this winter, depending on if the Knuckles show is coming out this year still or not, because we haven't seen anything about that either. But to be fair, Sega lately has been dropping shit pretty like randomly, and like there was that murder mystery Sonic thing that just came out of the blue, and no one knew that was coming. There was no leaks or anything, which is pretty impressive. So,
but some of the other not Sonic, but some of the other Sega stuff has leaked recently, which we'll probably talk about on a future episode of the Sonic movie show. Yeah, I mean, we did a whole episode of what we want from a Knuckles TV show, so we're not going to really repeat any of that stuff here. And I also kind of forgot what I even said. I think I said something about having De La Soul be licensed music used in it or something like that. But yeah, I am excited. Obviously, I have a feeling you're probably excited as well. You know, it gives us more content for the pod, as they say. But
I mean, I feel like we can never I mean, we have no plans to end this show, but I feel like we can't end it when there's still Sonic movies coming out. At the very least, you know what I mean?
Whenever they
as long as
they've been nice to us. Sonic Movie 2 comes out. We're doing 2 episodes about that. And then they immediately announce the 3rd one. Okay, cool. We're renewed till 2024.
We're set.
We have to do it.
At least the end of 2024. You have us booked to some degree, right?
Yeah. And cool. We have a Sonic game coming up soon. We can hit that up. Nice. Oh, there's Sonic games getting DLC. Sweet. Give us a Sonic Adventure 2 remake. In the style of Resident Evil 4, Final Fantasy 7 remake. You know what I mean? Just do something crazy. Well, I think we've exhausted our repeat opinions on Sonic Movie 2. Thank you guys for watching. Hey, while you're here, before you leave, I'm sure you're on YouTube, our preferred way of watching and listening to this podcast. Hit the like button now that you watched most of it. Just
Knuckles smash it. Knuckles smash it.
Just poke it with your mouse or your finger. I don't really want to say hit the bell to get notifications. I don't know if that helps us or not, but if you want to,
do all the engagement things. Share it.
Type in the comments.
Yeah.
I did what you said, Ethan, and give me a thumbs up. And hey, while you're here, at Sonic Movie Show on YouTube, obviously, as well as Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and the like. Let us know what you think about this movie having been a year afterwards. Have you seen it since theaters? This is our first time seeing it since theaters.
How many times have you seen it? That's what I want to know for the real ones out there.
Honest opinions, but the person who has the highest gets the most respect from us. Or the least. It depends on how we're feeling about this person. You know what I mean? Also, send us your fan fiction or we might start just stealing it online. Because I want to do that episode. If you don't want that episode done, tweet at me at Ethan Absolutely and let me know that you don't want it done. If you feel like, once again, Devin isn't talking enough about Rouge the Bat, tweet at him at CurseOnTheFun.
I was going to say, I had to hold back this episode. There was a couple times I wanted to say something, but I was like, I don't want to be that guy, so I'm trying to.
Some people have a bit, some people have a personality, and it feels weird to not see any of that happen in an entire episode of the Sonic Movie Show. So that's all I'm going to say. And on that note, we're going to say goodbye. We're going to see you next time for another episode. Have a fantastic day.